Welcome to the Media Speaks Live, TMS Live on YouTube, Google+, Twitter, the website, Facebook, everywhere. We got a good show for you today. This is some weird music. Feel like I'm in like the rain, in a techno rain. Joined today by DLAKE for PREZ. DLAKE, how you doing?
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Yeah, this music is kind of weird, but I like it.
It is. It's tripping me out. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. I wanted to start off, actually, with, there's the jump in. I wanted to start off talking about, I went on Twitter, because I'm a Twitter guy. You know, I go on Twitter all the time, and I ask people questions and stuff. And I asked some people on Twitter, I was like, hey, what do you want us to talk about on the show? You know, that's fair,
cool,
right?
Man.
So we got 2 responses. I forget when I asked. I think I was
Whoa, 2 whole responses? That's some pretty major networking.
That's some serious social networking.
Hell yeah.
The first one, because I just asked, I was like, what do you think are like the libertarian issues that we should be talking about? And the first comment back I got was from Latressa Isaac. Latressa for real is her Twitter handle, and she said, at the Media Speaks, it should be the unethical practices of DCF and CPS. And so I know this is an oldie, but I wanted to bring it back up. Let me jump to my screen share here, if I can find it.
CPS, Child Protective Services. What was the other one? DCF?
Yeah, which is pretty much essentially the same thing. So I wanted to go back. Did you remember this story, D-Lake, where the parents essentially, somebody ratted them out and said that they were smoking weed? And
no, wait, they were doing what?
They were smoking marijuana, D-Lake. And so here, I'll just read.
Plant.
The foster mother of a 2-year-old Texas girl has been charged with murder after the toddler she brought into her home earlier this year died last week from severe head injury. So that gives away the story right there. This girl was taken from her family, which, like, don't get me wrong, you see the video and, like, there's a video of the father. Maybe they even have it in this article. It doesn't look like it. The father, you know, he's in his like, Pizza Hut or Domino's uniform. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that these parents look like they were, like, you know, family.
Are you trying to say pizza delivery guys traditionally smoke a lot of weed?
Yes, that's exactly the point of the story. But, you know, they didn't look like, you know, the parents from, like, All in the Family or something like that, but they were smoking a little bit of weed. The guy was working, you know, he had a job at Domino's or whatever, and, like, from everything I read, there was no other complaint against his family except for that they were smoking weed. Imagine that you're smoking a little bit, it's the weekend, you and your wife work hard, put in 40 hours, and you're like, you know what, honey? Let's watch the 1976 animated movie Wizards, smoke a bowl, and get a babysitter, and your wife's like, you know, that sounds like a good idea. And then, you know, CPS busts in and takes your kid and gives him to a foster parent who beats your kid and dies. They die. Shouldn't say it.
And the foster parent, the CPS, the job that they did was basically to kill the kid?
Pretty much. I mean... they took a kid from a family that, don't get me wrong, maybe not the best family, but a good enough family. There were no other complaints against them. The girl seemed she was fine. I mean, I know people like this who, you know, they don't have the best families. They got pregnant young. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how much this actually relates. A lot of people think dogs are part of their family, but there was a story this week that a couple took their dog to the vet, and the vet said, you know, your dog's got a lot of health problems. We should probably put it down. And they're like, okay, this is really sad, but we're going to euthanize the dog. 6 months later, they get a call from some chick, a disgruntled employee at the veterinarian's office that tells the couple that their family dog is still alive in a cage at the veterinarian's office. 6 months later, they storm into the vet. Their dog is still alive, and they take their dog home. They never killed the dog, and they said that the dog was going to be euthanized.
What were they going to do with the dog then?
I don't know. That part remains unclear. Apparently it was just sitting in a cage, like, kind of in an inhumane way. Maybe the veterinarian was like, this dog needs to die, but I don't know, I can't really do it. We should just let it starve in a cage or something? I don't really know. But for 6 months, you think it must have been getting food, Anyways, Kyle, that's a side note. There's so much going on in the
There is.
news.
We got Don from Save America's Liberty watching. Hey, how you doing? And thanks for watching. We got one more comment from Media Fuzz on Twitter saying, at the media speaks, Obama media needs to be called out on puff journalism. They do Wikipedia omission. Puff is propaganda.
Media Fuzz, I do that all the frickin' time. Go back and watch my videos like Dawn from Save America's Liberty, and you'll find out that I talk about Obama's puff media all the time, pal.
Well, and I think that we can use this as a good segue into a topic that we wanted to talk about anyways, because when you're talking about puff pieces, which is essentially, I mean, I would define a puff piece as like bullshit articles and bullshit stories. They get plastered all over the front page. It's propaganda. It's a distraction, right? So you had some stuff you wanted to talk about with this guy from the basketball guy. What's his name?
Oh, the Donald Sterling?
Yeah.
Oh, are we going to get into that? Oh, man.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah, did anyone know who Los Angeles Clippers NBA basketball owner Donald Sterling was this week before an illegal wiretapping videotape that his girlfriend clandestinely recorded of him? And she keeps baiting him like, oh, should I change the color of my skin? And he's like, bitch, just shut the hell up. Just don't publicize that you're with Magic Johnson and these black guys. And she's like, oh, is there something wrong with black people? And he's like, shut the fuck up. But then they released the audio recording on TMZ, and a guy who's had previous, like, sort of racist comments in the past or treating his black players, you know, sort of in a not all the way fair kind of way. I mean, he's this Jewish welfare queen who's got, you know, his $1 billion Staples Stadium paid for by taxpayers, and there's a lot going on with that. The funny and interesting thing is that I actually had a conversation with my buddy Big Castle last night about this issue. Kyle, do you want to go ahead and let me know what you know about this, and then let me get into this convo that I have with my buddy?
Well, I want to point out that I think the most important thing you said about this and why it's really relevant to this guy's tweet is exactly what you said. That did anybody actually know who this guy was before this? Nobody knew who he was. Nobody cared. I'm trying to pull up on Twitter.
Yeah, and within a week he gets fined $2.5 million, loses his team, breaks up with his girlfriend. Doesn't actually make a public statement, lets NBA make the first move, but
Did you see this meme that I made earlier on our Twitter feed? I made this a few days ago. Some guy you've never heard of makes a racist comment, and it's all the media is talking about. Congress must be passing something really bad. I mean, it's true.
You posted that? You made that?
Yeah, I made that a few days ago.
Yeah, I saw that earlier this week, and I was like, hey, this is really good. You made that? Dude, we need to get our memes out there more. Because we make great fucking memes and amazing videos, like draw a dick on a robot's face. Hopefully we can play some of that later in the entertainment section.
Definitely.
But
I mean, I'm curious to hear how your conversation with this guy went, because I keep bringing up to people, nobody knew who this guy was before, and all right, he made a racist statement, and there's a few things that we can take away from this, in my opinion. First of all, one guy nobody's ever heard of who happens to own a basketball team makes a racist statement, and you don't hear about anything else. That's the top story on all news outlets for a solid week. Anybody who wants to call America a racist country can go fuck themselves. Two, like, who cares? I don't know this guy. I don't care about his basketball team. Even if you do care about his basketball team, the best thing we could do is, instead of making this a giant news sensation and trying to...
Too late. Already a giant media sensation, Kyle. I posted, seriously, now that I'm thinking about it, did Oprah put young, dumb Vanessa, who you see pictured there in the visor, going into court, up to recording Donald Sutherland? Or Donald, excuse me.
Donald Sutherland. The biggest racist in the world.
Oh, faux pas, Freudian slip. Donald Sterling to buy the Clippers. Maybe not as far-fetched as it sounds, considering who joined the media rally cry suggestion. It should be investigated. I posted a link to ESPN.com. Here's the link. Oprah considering Clippers bid with David Geffen and Larry Ellison. Let me continue.
I've never heard of.
let me go back. So my buddy Big Castle says she hangs around Magic, as in Magic Johnson. I am guessing Magic Johnson is involved somewhere. He owns a baseball team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we can get into how exactly he acquired that. But his love is basketball, and neither LA owner is interested in selling, that being Donald Sterling being one of those. Billy said, I was thinking the same thing. I think a lot of things are going to come out somewhere down the road. Word is Sterling is going to sue the NBA and tie this whole thing up in the courts, which is going to take years. The next day, I said, good points, guys. Also, this story comes out like on a Monday. I think it came out like Sunday. Monday is when I listened to the recording. By Wednesday, he was fined and banned. Should the NBA commission, Kyle, handle all court cases, considering how swift they deliver justice? LOL.
Well, I mean, I think that the best thing that we could do is, well, not us, the NBA, which I have nothing to do with at all. I don't even watch it. But the better thing that they could do is, I'm a libertarian, and I believe in dollar votes. I've talked about this before. What is a better system to out this guy if you disagree with this quote-unquote hate speech, which is what it was. It was hate speech. What's the better thing to do? You take in all the basketball team owners, you have them all vote, and you say, we're going to force you to sell your team and force you out of the NBA. Or, as the American people, as basketball fans, you could say, hey, this guy's a racist. I don't want anything to do with this team. I'm not going to the games. I'm not paying for a ticket. I'm not going to watch the games when they're on TV. I'm not going to buy jerseys for what is it, the Clippers or whatever. I'm not going to buy their jerseys. I'm not going to buy their merchandise, and I'm not going to support their team at all. And all the players on that team, if you disagree with it, which I assume you do because you're all black guys, when your contract is up, go to a different team. If nobody supports that team, it will disappear. In the same way that if nobody ate at McDonald's, there would no longer be McDonald's. But I don't ask the Supreme Court, I don't ask the U.S. government to say, force McDonald's to sell off and make them not exist anymore. No, I don't eat there. If you don't like this team, don't support them. If you're a Clippers fan, it's Clippers, right? If
Yeah,
you're
Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah,
Well,
if you're a fan of them, be a fan of a different team. Isn't there another LA team? Aren't there isn't the Lakers? Isn't that
the Lakers. Well, Kyle, LeBron James, noted and famed NBA basketball player, LeBron James, was interested in playing in Los Angeles when he was a free agent in 2010. But James, who ultimately signed with the Heat, I believe that's in Florida, told the Miami Heat, told Geffen he wouldn't play for Sterling. He told that to Geffen, David Geffen. And Oprah Winfrey, David Geffen, and Larry Ellison will join together in a bid to buy the Los Angeles Clippers. And my whole sentiment when I posted this was that this all happens within the span of a week, and Vanessa, who's hiding in the visor in this picture, clandestinely recorded Mr. Sterling making all these comments. Sorry,
we got a guy commenting in, Jeff Jordan, asking why is it that they fined him $2.5 million? I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, hey, who said that?
A guy named Jeff Jordan.
Hey, Jeff Jordan, are you related to Michael Jordan? You know who got that $2.5 million? Anti-defamation organizations. So basically the ADL. I said good point, guys. Big Castle said the following, and this is a little bit long. The case is way deeper than the average American can see. There are three sides to every story, and they acted after hearing one side. We know nothing about the relationship. We know nothing about the context. We know nothing about his mental state. Okay. He was led down this path, illegally recorded, tried, and convicted in the public. This is Big Castle speaking. Now they want to sell the team? ? This is America, last I checked, and everyone gets to tell their side, and you cannot divest people of personal property. His comments sound terrible, and he is probably not good for the league. But we know every little thing right now. I am reserving judgment. That last part was a little unclear, but I am reserving judgment until I hear all the facts. This may even be elder abuse. Did you guys think about it that way, assholes? And believe me, I added that. And believe me, says Big Castle, You do not want to be convicted of that. That's right.
We have
Let's let the man have his day in court, and if he is found guilty, then I will be the first to say he has to go, says Big Castle. And there's more, but what do you got, Kyle?
there's nothing illegal about what he did. It's a cultural thing. But Save America's Liberty said, here, let me pull this up. Kyle, try to understand this. Racism is the nature of human fault, and it will always be. The Zionists push multiculturalism is all other countries so they can use their control of the media to divide and conquer the masses, but most awakened peps don't fall for it. I see your point in that multiculturalism is something that's kind of pushed, and I don't think that multiculturalism is the problem. Well, I don't think that multiculturalism is the problem. I think it's anything being pushed on you. Nobody likes something being pushed on you. If your teacher in 3rd grade says take your seat, you immediately want to fucking stand. So multiculturalism isn't the problem. It's something being pushed on people. That's the same thing. I
live in San Diego, America's largest melting pot of different cultures. Okay, Kyle, and the NBA has to act. Let me get back to this.
And Jeff Gordon really quickly said the same thing as me. Court, there's no criminal charge. He hasn't done anything illegal, but and let me just say quickly before you get back.
Yeah, see, that's what I start getting into in this thread that I'm reading from is that I'm like, dude, this didn't happen in any kind of court. It happened with the NBA's association and the commissioner. Just they have their own rules. Apparently, they can do their own investigations. They got Sterling to admit that was him on the tape. They had a forensic analysis say that it was him on the recording. His bitch-ass girlfriend, that dumb whore, fucking, she's like, should I change the color of my skin? And he's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And she's working for Magic Johnson and probably Oprah Winfrey. And that's the point that I was trying to get at. This is a hijack.
You think it was a hijack to get the team from him?
This is a hijack to steal the team. Exactly.
Oprah Winfrey. Well, I do.
Her racist bitch, racist pimp ass, and she says, "Oh, half of America hates Obama because of his black skin, Kyle." But she's not racist at all. When her in-laws come over, and she just got divorced from her mother-in-law, and when they come over, she's like, "Oh, the Negroes are here."
Who says that?
How do you like that? Oprah Winfrey. She calls her mother-in-law and her dad Negroes. When they come to her house, she goes, "The Negroes are here. The Negroes are here."
Jeff Jordan commented again that that's why he's confused about the fine, but the fine does make sense actually because the NBA is just like any other type of club.
Wait.
It's a club.
No, you stop and hold it right there. A fine can only happen for something that happens on the court, happens in the arena, happens in public. You can't just take a clandestine recording of me at my house in the privacy of my own home, expressing my own personal opinions, telling my girlfriend not to pose with pictures with Magic Johnson, and then post that on TMZ, and then fine me $2.5 million.
But here's the thing:
I don't care if I'm racist.
It's a club. It's the same as if you belong to a country club or a frat or anything else. That once you're a part of that club, you agree to go by that club's rules, right? So if that club decides with majority or by whatever rules that they have that they want to fine you, that has nothing to do with American law. You agreed to be a part of that club and you agreed to play by that club's rules. I don't know all that club's rules. Maybe they broke some because I know that they fine people for a lot of other stupid stuff. You can get fined for dancing in the end zone in NFL.
That happened on the field. That happened on the field. No, Kyle, wait. I'm sorry I keep cutting you off. I'm very passionate about what's been happening in the news this week. Here's Vanessa in her visor. What is this in her left hand? What is that?
It looks like a breathalyzer or something.
Her recording device, a breathalyzer.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. It's her tape recorder. Really quickly, Don said if the old man wants to be a racist, let him. And he agrees with me. Let people vote with their cash and put the Clippers out of business.
Should he sell the team, Don?
I don't. If he wants to, I think it would be a good idea for him to sell the team otherwise. But, I mean, let's be real. The real problem here is that let's say that the NBA did nothing here. People would, for a little while, stop going to the games and stop buying merchandise, but within a few months, they'd forget about it, and it would be back to fucking normal. Nobody would care because people are dumb. It's the same problem we have with people who complain about Walmart, but you look in their fridge and it's all fucking Equate brand. Like,
All
you,
right, Kyle. Can we switch topics? But I just want to end by saying two things. One, it's all Oprah Winfrey's doing. I believe she is the Bilderberg group behind this. And final quote from my buddy Big Castle. When I asked him for a final quote, a good soundbite, give it to me, sum this up. He said, "Truth, justice, and fuck your way."
I want to say one last thing, that if Oprah buys the Clippers, that I want Martha Stewart to buy a team too.
Oh,
I'll
great.
go
Yeah,
over
Kyle, that sounds great. What about Rob Schneider? Should he buy a team, and can we get into that, Kyle?
Rob Schneider definitely should buy a team. Yeah, this was on Drudge Report. Rob Schneider was doing a radio interview where he pretty much came down and just bashed the system that we're currently in, saying that, and there are a few things he said that I disagreed with, a few that I did.
Kyle, he says, we are sliding very fast towards fascism in his interview with Chris Stiegel.
And he blamed, for that slide, he blames democracy, which I don't know how I feel about that. Where are you on that?
Well, actually, in his quote, he said democracies don't end well, and that's historically accurate to say. And when our republic starts shifting towards a democracy, and I've actually talked about Obama calling our republic a democracy when we're a republic, and he says we are sliding very fast towards fascism. It's an ugly kind of thing. There's this kind of mob mentality, and mob mentality is a euphemism for democracy, that we have to be careful of. He believes comedians are pressured toward one side of the political spectrum. There's a polarization that's happening. I do think you can look at government and go, wow, it is out of control now. And if you do criticize or tend to not directly along a liberal stand, you can get murdered, Schneider commented.
Well, there is definitely a problem going on, not just with comedians, but comedians are where you really see it come out, where a comedian says something and all of a sudden people get offended now. You can't say that. Like, Sarah Silverman's gotten in trouble for it. A ton of comedians have gotten in trouble for it. You can't say that. That offends me. People are too easily offended. What you need to realize, especially with a comedian, is that if a comedian says something, it's not necessarily, it might be because that's what they believe, but not necessarily. They say things to get it's a punchline. It's a joke. It's supposed to be funny. And you do not have a right to get offended in this country.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Kyle, even...
try and use that against somebody. You have a right to be offended, but I have a right not to care that you're offended.
Yeah, Kyle, but comedians have a special power and leeway to express their personal thoughts and opinions. I mean, take a look at George Carlin, who was just... his video was just played and quoted this week that I was watching on TruthStream Media, where he was talking about the education system. And Rob Schneider says, or the author says, Rob Schneider was critical of the media. The media speaks? What? For being overly influenced by the government and not standing up for the American people. Quote,
yeah, he actually brought up in the interview, I don't think they have the quote on there, but he said he was talking about a study that was done worldwide that ranked us for freedom of media like 140th or something like that. And the interviewer changed the subject really quick to whatever project he was working on.
fucking mainstream.
But I don't know. How do you feel about him blaming democracy? Because I believe in a democratic republic, for the most part, but a democratic republic as opposed to democracy leads to essentially the same thing, just slower, right? Because you're putting it in the hands of less. So doesn't a democratic republic essentially lead to the same thing as a democracy?
Well, Kyle, the thing is, if we act like a republic and which is following the rule of law and the supreme law of the land, which is the United States Constitution, that's different than a democracy, quote unquote, which is what ended the Romans, where it's like mob rule and two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner, Kyle.
Yeah, we have Save America's Liberty commenting in, we should be a nation of laws, a republic with a democratic voting system. Once the officials cross the line, they should be removed and led to the gallows. And I agree with that, except for the first thing that he says there, which is that we should be a nation of laws. Because I see the propaganda machine, and I see how that type of mentality will be used. Once we start calling ourselves a nation of laws, well, who is bound by those laws? The people.
Everyone. It's the supreme law of the land, the United States Constitution,
But
Kyle.
anytime you hear a politician say something like that, they're not talking about themselves being bound by laws. They're talking about us being bound by laws. So I think we should change that. Something like we are a nation whose government is bound by laws, because that should be the emphasis on that. We got somebody else. Yeah.
Kyle, I agree with you. I like the sound of that a lot better than what I said.
Got a few more comments coming in.
Great.
Ken B.O.B. America was founded by fascists. I've heard that argument before. He sent us a YouTube link for it, but I've seen
things were a lot different back then, pal. Don't try to.
And don't get me wrong, the founding fathers weren't perfect, but I mean, what is the alternative? And that's what I always say to people when they start going down the path of the founding fathers, which there were some guys that weren't that great within the founding fathers. There were a lot of guys I think were awesome, but
Hey man, just because I grew marijuana and slept with my slave whores doesn't mean I'm a bad guy.
well, I mean, what's the other option? When people start going down that road, well, then should we rewrite the Constitution? If we rewrite the Constitution, who's going to be writing it? Do you really think that we're going to get something better out of that?
Harry Reid.
Do you think that by going backwards and saying that the founding fathers were racist and fascist and Illuminati, are we going to get something better than the Constitution out of that, or are we going to get something worse? That's usually what I think. But I don't know. I'll check out that video after the show's over, and I'm always willing to watch something like that. But moving on a little bit, DLAKE, you had a video that you wanted to watch. This is just kind of going down a fun route. Let me pull this up because you sent me this video, and I watched it. I'm like, holy shit.
Oh, the Baltimore video?
Yeah. Are you ready?
Let's play that for everybody, and then if anyone is watching the show, we have a few viewers. If you guys want to comment on this, comment in on this video so we can talk about it, that'd be great. Kyle, go ahead.
I feel so bad at the same time. I'm just like,
oh my God.
Hey, Kyle, turn the volume up a little.
Got the ball right over. Finally happened, huh? Yeah.
it is? Are you taking a video?
Yeah.
3 years.
Wait for it.
3 years.
Wait for it.
Oh my God! Hey,
It happened.
look at this. And on the phone, you can get somebody else. Oh, no, that's fine.
Like we got hundreds of pictures of this. They've been out here 10 times, and all they do is just put a little surf in there and try to fill it in. I said, man, it's going to happen.
Back in the 80s.
No, I wasn't.
Oh my God, it's showing you.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
Totally insane. And I commented on my Facebook. I saw this post from my friend Miguel Mega Rodriguez, and I said, damn, is that an act of God? Is there any legal compensation, or are those people just out of a car? Miguel says, you never know. That's an interesting insurance inquiry right there.
See, when I watch that video, I might be stupid, but my first thought is, all right, so it took a little while for that to happen, right? Everybody gets out of the cars, everybody's a safe distance away from it.
And you wanted helicopters with giant magnets to save the cars.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, when it starts falling, and it eventually does, you hear like an older black woman, "Oh my God! Ah!" Shut up. Am I mean for saying that? Am I mean for being like, what's your screaming gonna accomplish?
You might be racist.
No, well, it's not the fact that it's a black woman. I mean, if it was anybody, if it was an old white guy. But the fact there's a few other people screaming, but you hear the one lady extremely loud, it's like,
Mhm.
your screaming is going to accomplish nothing. Why not just take it in? Well, would you scream if you saw something like that? I mean, it's
I'd be
coming.
freaking out, dude.
I would be, but like the scream, it's not like you're on it. You're a good 15 feet away. I don't know.
Dude,
I'm probably just an
if
asshole.
that was your car though, you'd be freaking out.
I'd probably be like, fuck, but that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. So, so possibly your reaction wouldn't have been quite as dramatic. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
I just don't get the point in screaming in a situation like that. No matter who you are. I mean, it's happening. You're not in danger. It sucks.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. It's like screaming
Okay.
at a basketball game.
Okay. Kyle, go ahead with what you got next. I'm trying to find something here.
I don't know. I'm probably just an asshole. Let's
Probably.
see what we got in the roster here. We went through our Don Serling news propaganda crap.
Racist bastard. Oprah's going to buy the team. Magic Johnson. They totally collaborated and conspired to get that team. I believe that's what happened. But go ahead.
Wait, we got a comment down here. We're starting to get overfilled with them.
Great.
Don is
Go
saying,
through 'em.
this is what happens when you build on fill dirt. It's a very good point. From back when we were looking at that picture of the girlfriend of the married basketball guy.
Is anybody blaming Mexicans for the construction of this road?
I don't think so. We had a comment just saying that was an omnidirectional mic. Jeff Jordan just.
Oh, what Vanessa was holding in her hand?
Yeah. Jeff Jordan just commented in, Kyle, understand old black women need to be heard.
Oh shit! Jesus, Harold Christ! Can you play the video of Obama or Oprah at the liquor store?
Oprah at the liquor store?
Yeah, it's on our Facebook page, Kyle.
All right, keep talking. I'll find
Find
it.
that while I talk about this. Trey Gowdy is to chair the Select Committee on Benghazi. Okay, Trey Gowdy says, I don't give a damn whose careers are ruined. During an earlier press conference in regards to Benghazi, he doesn't care if it's Hillary, the State Department, John Kerry, anyone else involved, some bitch who sent her the emails, the motherfucker that said, yeah, it all came from the White House, contradicting Susan Rice's talking points on those Sunday shows. You might remember Mitt Romney tried to bring it up at the debates, but he totally stumbled over his words, and then Candy Crowley was ready with the shit. Well, Trey Gowdy to chair the Select Committee on Benghazi. There have been several calls for Speaker John Boehner to form a Select Committee to investigate Benghazi since the terrorist attack happened 19 months ago. DLAKE for PREZ, Kyle Phillips. We've been covering news for over 24 months. We covered all that. Boehner has resisted those calls. Excuse me, I've been drinking. Instead, relying on various other committees to investigate. However, a smoking gun email obtained after a Judicial Watch lawsuit has changed all that. The email, written by Ben Rhodes, assistant to the President and Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategic Communications. This is all big breaking news this week, you guys. Connects the White House directly with a cover-up. What's his name in the wheelchair? Krauthammer says it's a cover-up of a cover-up on Fox News. He's on Fox News, but he blames the mainstream media. How ironic. Okay. And blaming the attacks on a protest to a little seen YouTube video called Innocence of the Muslims. I totally fucking covered it. I called all this shit that just got out of control was concocted in order to protect Obama's re-election chances in 2012. Candy Crowley working with Obama against Mitt Romney. You don't fucking say. Boehner is now expected to announce a special committee to investigate Benghazi. According to Fox News, South Carolina Representative Trey Gowdy will chair that select committee. He says, I don't give a damn whose career wrecks. He's ready to get there in there and tear shit up. Shout out to Trey Gowdy, South Carolina Representative. Way better than Gary Alyssa. Way better than all these other punk-ass people trying to get to the bottom of anything. Former prosecutor. Just this guy Trey Gowdy right here. This guy kicks ass. He's got kind of funny hair, but this guy just kicks fucking balls.
Are you ready for that video? Which I didn't realize you were talking about this. I
Yeah,
have.
Kyle, I'm done. It's another World Star Hip Hop video. Do you want to play just?
Slavery. I don't care about that. My grandmother lived 104. You know how right here. My family didn't tell my grandmother lived, but she just died this year. Okay. She was a slave. Okay, you right here in Stone Mountain. You can go and you
Who says that our ancestors weren't slaves?
Hold on, I'm talking about in this country that built this country, and we don't get no reparations. But y'all come over here.
All right, now us playing this
McDonald's.
video, people are probably thinking like, "What's the point of you guys playing this video?" The point is that this argument started over being charged 20 cents for a cup of water. That's the point.
Yeah.
I did see that video.
Apparently, and apparently they only charge black women, but not everyone else or something. So it's obviously racist.
Can I say that
Her ancestors were slaves? I mean, come on, come on, Oprah.
I work at a gas station.
Oprah's really mad because they won't show her the $1 million purse or the $25,000 shoes or anything like that.
I work at a gas station, and we charge 52 cents for a cup of water, D-Lake. And I've actually had similar encounters to this where I've been called a racist, I've been called an asshole, I've been blah, 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 because I'm black for charging people for water, which here's the deal. I probably shouldn't say this.
They're like, what the fuck? Ketchup packets are free.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. I normally don't charge people for water. But if my manager is standing right behind me, I have to charge you for water. It's going to be 53 fucking cents. And if you see that my manager's standing behind me, you should understand that's why I'm charging you. But I've had people call me a racist. You never charged me before because I'm black, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's because my manager's standing right behind me and you're calling me out, cocksucker. Now I'm going to charge you every time because now my manager knows that I don't charge you. You fuck me.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Thanks a lot, guy. Now my manager knows that I normally don't charge you. And you're accusing me of racism? Go fuck yourself. Give me 53 cents or get the fuck out of here.
And Jeff Jordan said about Ted Gowdy, unless it's his...
Trey Gowdy.
Trey Gowdy, sorry. Slow clap.
What?
We got, I'm not sure what that meant, but then we got from Don, yeah, I think he's saying...
Oh, I think that means he's tentative about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Like, maybe. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, kind of like Ted Cruz.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that. I mean, I think he's going to kick ass, but I can understand a slow clap.
Don says Benghazi was a weapons for terrorist operation.
Yeah, and I believe that's Trey Gowdy's stance as well. And a lot of news has been coming out about it, and especially since... Ben Rhodes' email came out saying from the White House, see what's been dispelled is the myth that the Susan Rice's Innocence of the Muslim talking points came from the CIA. They didn't come from the fucking CIA. They came from directly inside the White House during Barack Obama's re-election campaign, and it specifically said, let's blame a YouTube video called Innocence of the Muslims and protests because of that video.
Which was a really
so that there's no negative repercussions about Barack Obama's foreign policy, Kyle. And that's going to all be exposed in the coming months, hopefully, if Trey Gowdy is doing his job. And hey, Trey Gowdy, I invite you to go back and watch all DLAKE for PREZ's reports about Benghazi right after it happened, the week after it happened.
I got
anti-Islamic movie dubbed junk. DLAKE for PREZ. Body of Lies, DLAKE for PREZ. Just search DLAKE for PREZ Benghazi on YouTube right fucking now.
D-Lake, you need to calm down or I'm going to charge you for water. Okay?
Alright, yeah, I'm getting pretty amped up
Want me to
today.
charge you 53 cents for water? Because I will. Oh, I will. 'Cause I don't like your beard. It's because of the beard.
Kyle, I'm going to take a break. Can you take over the show for a little bit? I need to calm down and splash some cold water on my face. Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to splash cold water on your face. So let's go through some of the comments that we got that I haven't gotten a chance to go to. I'm trying, if I didn't get to your comment right away, it's not because I don't want to read it, but we try and keep flow and not keep going back and back and back on things. Don from Save America's Liberty People need to wake up. 9/11 was not an operation planned by Muslims hiding in a cave. 9/11 was an Israeli op. So the weapons in Benghazi was really giving to an out-of-control American merc group. When it comes to the whole 9/11 thing, what I always tell people is I don't necessarily know what happened at 9/11 and who was behind it. I have a few different ideas. I have things that I think. I don't have anything I know 100%. I know that Building 7 certainly looked like it was demolished. What I do know for sure is that the 9/11 Commission report is not what happened. That is not the truth. And when it comes to the whole thing, and there are still people out there who believe in this whole terrorist idea, and they believe that there's terrorists out there who hate us for our freedom. And whenever I get into this conversation, first, they hate us for our freedom. Which freedoms? And usually people don't have an answer. It's like, all right, let me give you an analogy that I came up with. I think I said this on the last show. So you have a neighbor, right? You move into a new neighborhood, you buy a house, and your neighbor, you're meeting all your neighbors, people bringing you over pies and stuff, and the neighbor comes over and he says, hey, I was looking at your bathroom, and I'm a carpenter, and I could fix that bathroom up for you really good, give you a good price, make it the bathroom of your dreams. You say, yeah, sure, sounds good. You give him a few $1,000s, he rips out all the drywall, he takes your toilet out, he fucks up your shower so that you can't use it, and then you don't hear from the guy, and you try and call him, and he's not interested, and he starts talking shit about you now, and you're just like, hey, buddy, I just want my bathroom fixed. And the guy happens to be a different religion from you and gives his wife a lot of freedoms that you don't think are necessarily appropriate, like she swims naked in their pool in their backyard. What do you hate that guy for more? Because his wife swims naked in his pool? Because he's a different religion from you? Or that guy fucked up your bathroom, took your money, and is now talking shit about you? Which one do you hate that guy for more? So when people talk about Muslim extremists, I know tons of Muslim people. I know people from Saudi Arabia. Nicest people in the world, especially the Shia. I just got to be honest. Shia seem to be a lot nicer for some reason, a lot more polite, and a lot less shit-talky. Because Sunnis do seem like, not all of them, but a lot of them have kind of had this propaganda fed to them about the Shia and about Americans and stuff, to where some of them can be a little bit where they'll say some things that's like, well, they're like the nicest people in the world. When you're, like I said before, I work in a gas station, and Muslims always say hello when they walk in the door and always say thank you before they walk out. I can't say the same thing for Americans. So why do you think that there's really terrorism? Is it because some people with a different religion don't like the way we do things over here, and so they want to stop us and they want to incite fear into us? Or is it because people at the top who are part of the military-industrial complex and other illicit groups are trying to keep us in a state of constant war, constant fear, constant panic, constant need to take all of our money through taxes to fight all of these invisible enemies, and because they want to turn the homeland into a police state through that same fear they claimed is being used against us by terrorists, but only leads to more and more laws restricting our freedom. And if that is the case, and if there are really terrorists, as said by the Bush administration and the Obama administration, well, who's won in this war on terror? Because all I see is that we still have troops over there, and I have less freedoms now than I did in 2000. So who's really won, us or them? I say them. It looks like DLAKE's coming back. He went and put some water on his face. I see it dripping off of his beard. And what else do we have to talk about today? DLAKE had this article, which is something that we always talk a lot about Google Glass on this show.
Yeah.
DLAKE, what's going on with Google Glassholes?
Oh man, this is what I was really waiting for. A swarm of Google Glassholes.
What does that mean? All right, can I guess first?
Yeah, go for it.
I know.
You don't know this yet?
No, I didn't. I saw it, and I saw that you had already put it in the roster, so I intentionally didn't read it, because I always like to try and guess and give a real showing of how I feel about stuff pertaining to...
All right, well, let's hear your guess, and then I'll tell you.
Yeah. My guess is that this has something to do with the fact that about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, Google did a one day, they were selling Google Glass to the public. It was $1,500. You got the Explorer edition. You got one set to go with it. And so I have a feeling that this has something to do with all of those showing up in the mail.
Some kind of mass marketing campaign? Is that what you think?
So what? I have a feeling it has something to do with all these people who just recently bought their Google Glass. So what happened?
All right, Kyle. Well, I actually didn't even read through this whole article myself either because I kind of wanted to wait, but I got the gist of it. A swarm of Google Glass users will descend on your city today, Saturday. Google Glass haters, beware. Glass wearers are planning meetups in a series of Glass Night Out events across the country on Saturday, today. The Glass community is coordinating the events which Google promoted in a Google Plus post on Thursday. Google is hoping its Explorer faithful, Kyle, on track so far, will help dispel glass myths to all, the company said in its post. If you go back and watch some of our previous reports, DLAKE said that Google Glass is going to start to verge more into private home use and porno as opposed to public use because people don't like these glass holes. It's part of a continued effort to reduce the polarizing effect of the $1,500 glass headsets, totally overpriced according to my friends that have actually used Google Glass, which let users snap photos, shoot video, perform a search, and do lots of other smartphone-like tasks in front of their eyes. And we can do it on our smartphones in our hands, so okay, great. The idea of a computer and recording device on one's head has made some non-glass users uncomfortable, Kyle, and it has pushed the conversation about etiquette and social norms in a connected world. Establishments, including bars and movie theaters especially, have kicked out explorers, who critics call glassholes. Because it sounds like assholes if no one got that.
Every time you say glass hole, it reminds me of glass ass. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, well, it intentionally sounds like assholes, everybody. In February, Google released an etiquette guide explaining
Nice.
like, if your product needs an etiquette guide and how to avoid being labeled a glass hole when strutting around with the new $1,500 hardware. The company followed up with a post in March about the top 10 myths about glass, and that's a link, but we're not going to click it, which include the idea that glass is always recording. With Glass Night Out, Google is clearly hoping explorers will spread the good word about the gospel of glass, Kyle.
That's their words, not Google's.
Yeah. As of Friday morning, the Explorer events calendar listed Night Out, Glass Night Out for all the glass holes, or meetup events for, but don't be a glass hole, meetup events for Saturday today in 8 cities: Boston, Los Angeles, Madison, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, New York, Orlando, Florida, Palo Alto, California, and Washington, D.C. Luckily not here in San Diego, where I'd be trying to cover it, or where Kyle's at in Chicago. Look, people get shot in Chicago. They don't want to try it there. But glass naysayers in small towns aren't safe either. It's coming to a porn shop near you. Explorers in other cities and towns posted on a glass community page on Google Plus to organize other meetups. And do we have any comments? No, it just goes into more articles. Hey, what's this? Go high tech with gifts for dads and grads. Okay. Mother's Day, Father's Day is coming up. Should you get your mom a pair of Google Glass this Mother's Day, Kyle?
I think that would be more a gift for your dad, even if you did get it for your mom. You know what I mean?
Because your dad's more of a glass hole, maybe?
I think dads tend to be more of glass holes. But
Yeah.
I think that a lot of public places aren't looking at the positive effect that Google Glass could have. Like,
Well, what would that be, Kyle?
Dave
Please.
Attell was recently talking about how he was on Joe Rogan, and he was talking about how he filmed his most recent comedy special, and instead of having an expensive camera crew and having all these people come out and this whole high-tech fancy setup with tons of cameras, he got a ton of GoPros. He set a few up in good spots, and then he gave a few out to audience members to film them, and I guess this comedy special came out really well. If you have something going on, like, say, like a football game, and you have a ton of people who come in with Google Glass, you could say, hey, sync up with our Google Glass network or whatever, and now instead of just having the cameras in the specific pivoting spots to film the game, you can pan out to all these different people of Google Glass watching the game from the audience, and if yours comes on, if you know they're using yours, you know a little light beeps up, and that tells you, you know, don't look down and scratch your dick right now, you know, and you can get so many different angles. There's so many positive uses for this, I think.
Well, I have Dave Attell up here on my screen, but Kyle, we've also talked before about Google Glass's POV capability and all the amazing things that it could bring to modern day
Pornography.
pornography. Yes.
Definitely. The only problem I see with it is like, oh, you know what? You know what's gonna happen? You know how there's like, there's, this is going down a bad road. You know how there's like porn where it's like comeonerglasses.com? There's gonna be comeonergoogleglass.com. It's gonna be awesome. And then you get the shot from the guy wearing the Google.
A good point, Kyle. I'm going to GoDaddy right now to purchase the domain name.
You'll probably make a lot of money.
Hey, I want to be on the cutting edge of this.
Yeah, that's going to be the cutting edge. Well, we all know people don't like to admit it, but all of the internet has been driven by pornography from the beginning. The very early stages.
Well, Kyle, wait. Look at this picture right here. Is this appealing to hot young model type chicks to get Google Glass? Because I would personally do a POV Google Glass sex scene with these two girls in the foreground, and maybe even this fourth or fifth girl back here. She's kind of blurry, but
the Sasquatch looking ones.
A little blurry in the background, maybe a little Sasquatchy, but Sasquatchian.
Yeah, blurry, kind of off center in the background. But I mean, that's.
I'll be doing a Sasquatch like calls to her, like.
Yeah, I don't. There's a ton. But the internet has been driven by porn since its inception. I was listening to a talk from a guy who was like one of the early creators within the internet, like back in the 80s when you had to get the phone and put it on that special thing, like in War Games with Matthew Broderick. And back then they were actually to gauge. There were so few people on the internet that they could gauge the exact amount of users, well, not exact, but the amount of users that were on the internet at different points during the day. They could see, you know, the high points and the low points, how many people, if it was growing, etc. And they found that there's this time between around like 3 to 5 p.m. when all of a sudden internet use spiked. And this internet use between 3 and 5 p.m. is what got the big companies involved in it. That's what got the phone companies to invest in an internet infrastructure, got the cable companies to invest in internet infrastructure, got people like AOL and Netscape to build better navigators, and people like Google to build search engines to bring it all together better. And they found out that this giant spike in internet usage between 3 and 5 was because kids would get home a little bit before their parents got home from work and download as much porn in that little window as they could before their parents got home.
Yeah, I used to do that.
So, I mean, that and every aspect of the internet, what came first, YouTube or the porn website? I mean, it's not something necessarily.
Oh man, there's a super great movie about that with Giovanna Ribisi and Luke Wilson, I think, is in it.
What is it?
Luke Wilson, Giovanna Ribisi, about the start of porn and the internet. It's a great movie. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, everybody look that up. Hey, Kyle, I have this article that's a top headline on Drudge Report today.
Before we go off really, really quickly, we had one comment from Jeff Jordan saying that you're a glasshole because you wasted 1,500 beans. That's all the reason I need, similar to people who drive BMWs. I can agree with that. I will buy Google Glass when it's $300. I will not buy it for $1,500. So,
yeah, but I mean, so people that bought laser discs in the year 1998, were they assholes as well?
Yes.
George?
Yes.
They were, right? They were betting on that being the new technology.
Yeah, are you using a Laserdisc player right now, DLAKE? Is that a Laserdisc player behind you that you play Netflix on?
Exactly, though. But, I mean, Kyle, that goes exactly to my point and George Jordan's point is that those people are assholes right now, and only time will tell if they're bigger douchebags in the future or not. Because if you bought a DVD player back then, or back then it was like Laserdisc, VCR, And DVD was just on the verge of like.
Yeah, DVD started in like 99, 2000-ish. I remember my dad bought one. It was a big deal. Like I remember my grandparents came over and they're like, "How do you rewind it?" You know, they just didn't understand. They're like, "What? There's a movie on this disc."
You're like, Grandma, you can just skip fucking forward. You don't have to like sit there and wait forever.
Yeah, and it was the same way as like whenever a new video game system came out that like you wanted to have a ton of DVDs, but DVDs were expensive back then. So like you'd buy these like 5-packs of DVDs of movies that you'd never fucking heard of just because you wanted to have more DVDs. So we had like all these movies that my dad would buy. Like there was one, it was called like American Eagle or something. It's just got this guy that you've never seen before with a gun and some girl that it looked like a Die Hard movie, but that you'd never heard of, and that was really bad quality. But now even if you have I don't even have a DVD player. There's one on my computer, but I don't really.
You have a Blu-ray now, right?
No, I don't have one of those either. I have the internet, son. What do I need discs for? Discs.
Get with the fucking future, pal. Actually, Kyle, this drones banned at Yosemite Park Service goes into what we're saying because a lot more people are starting to utilize their personal drones and going to national parks to do it. The National Park Service is warning potential amateur pilots that drone aircraft are, quote, prohibited within park boundaries. This Yosemite National Park, now owned by the United Nations. The Park Service is referring to small unmanned aerial vehicles, aka drones, like the DJI Phantom. Officials say in recent years the park has experienced an increase in visitors using drones inside the park to film climbers and view above the treetops in the national park. I mean, Kyle, don't you think that would be great footage?
Definitely. When I read the headline to that article, I thought they were banning military drones, which sounded great to me, but banning personal use drones.
No, this is personal use, like just videographers, basically.
Yeah, and those things they've opened up a lot of doors to low budget filmers. I think Luke Radowski has one from We Are Change, and I've seen a few videos that he's used that for. I mean,
some cool like aerial like zoom ins and stuff.
Yeah, you can get shots that you used to need a crane or like a helicopter for with
something way more expensive, right, Kyle?
Yeah, I think they're great, especially for filmmakers.
So something more practical, an uptick in this kind of activity isn't surprising. Recently, the price and accessibility of small, personal drone aircraft has come way down. So now it's more affordable. Amateurs and hobbyists can outfit the devices with small cameras, such as GoPros, getting high-definition aerial photographs for around $1,000. I mean, less than my computer. Drones can be extremely noisy, wrote the Park Service, and can impact the natural soundscape. Well, we just need to make them more. They're so loud. They're so loud. And some guy driving by in his 1987 Chevy Caprice blasting his rap music at full volume. It's not.
Are you saying they should ban Chevy Caprices from Yosemite Park? There is a side to this that I see. Where'd that comment just go?
I have to splash some more cold water on my face.
With the early drones and the early Google Glass, you can kind of tie a connection. Jeff Jordan makes the point. If you need to impress your friends by buying new tech just for the sake of buying it, chances are you're a glasshole. And maybe this transfers over to these early drone buyers. I mean, aside from the people who are making movies and stuff, like if you just buy one and are playing it with it, maybe you could be considered a glasshole too. But no, I've seen these drones. I saw one. I was at the bar like a month ago, and something was flying overhead and had all these crazy like LED neon lights all over it. And like I see people pulled over on the side of the road and they're pointing up at it. And they're like, "What is that? Is that a UFO? What are we seeing?" People are pulling out their camera phones, and it gets a little bit closer and you kind of hear that.
Yeah, was it as loud as bass booming from a Caprice? But no. But Kyle,
No,
it's everyone thought it was Close Encounters of the Third Kind, or what?
They did. It was like the 1950s. Like everybody, "What is it? What's up there in the sky?" And the one redneck comes out of nowhere, is like, "I'ma shoot it out of the sky." It's like, where'd that farmer even come from? We're in a city right now, but he was there. And everybody's looking up, and there's chill. I'm scared, Mom. What does this mean? I don't know, honey. We have to get home into the basement. No, it wasn't that bad, but people were like in awe until like it got a little bit closer, and we're like, oh, it's a drone. It's a quadcopter. I'm gonna go home now. But I mean, I can see the point if it was like some sort of hazard. You know, if there were a fire danger or something, but they're electric. The worst thing it's going to do is fall somewhere and you won't be able to find it. Is that any worse than paper cups and shit that people leave everywhere?
Yeah, all over the national park. Hey, Kyle, real quick. This year, a federal judge ruled that the FAA, the Federal Flight Air Administration, right, or something like that, doesn't even have the authority to regulate hobbyist aircraft. I mean, this is hobbyists and videographers, like we previously said. While the regulation works out, enjoy some of the great shots drones have taken of America's most iconic national park. Oh, this video right here is all drone footage, Kyle.
Oh, play some. That's the perfect way to show.
Right. I don't have my sound set up, but let's just.
I don't even think you need it.
Yeah, let's just flash forward to some of the visuals of. Okay, it looks like this guy's setting up his homemade or some kind of personal drone aircraft. There's just the street footage. Looks like it's launching. Okay, it's taking off. Okay, how else would we get these treetop views, Kyle, if we didn't have this equipment? Look at that mountain face footage.
That's beautiful.
All right, hey, Kyle, can you continue on for a minute?
All right, I'll play devil's advocate here. Maybe he shouldn't be able to fly his drone over a road. I'll give you that. Like, don't fly your drones over the road. It could fuck up, lose radio connection, and then fly into a car. I'll give you that. Maybe you shouldn't be flying them. Just go over roads quickly. You shouldn't be following paths of roadways. I give that. We got a comment from Jeff Gordon, and he's saying pretty much what we've been saying. Drones are awesome. They help filmmakers that are on a budget, and I've seen tons of places where this has happened because you can get a drone with a GoPro, like what we're looking at right here. Up until drones, you would need a helicopter to get that. Who can afford a helicopter? One of these drones is like, what, $1,000? And I've seen videos where people can go pretty far with them. We need people using them, and the more you legislate it, the less people want to buy them. And the more people buy them, the more innovation we're going to see. I'd like to see a world where, you know, I got a friend who lives 5 miles away. I'd like to send something to him using my drone instead of having to get in my car or send it through the post office, which is going to take fucking 5 days. Why can't I send my personal drone to, you know, give my buddy something down the street, give him an SD card with some information on it? Like,
well, that's intense, Kyle. I never thought about that.
Why not? Why can't I use a drone like Tim? You know Tim. He's been on the Media Speaks before. He helps us out with Twitter. He lives like 3 miles away. If I want to send him something, or I'm like, hey, this is cool, check this out, why can't I just like clip it to the bottom of my drone and send it to his house? There's no reason for it, DLAKE. No reason at all. All right, so do we have anything else? Or I think I'm looking through. Is there anything else that we missed on here?
Sure, we got plenty of stuff. What else do you want?
I don't know. Give me a topic. Throw something at me. What's this Clinton memo? We haven't hit that yet, have we?
What's that?
The Clinton memo. You have it on the list?
Well, that was Alex Jones and a video basically talking about this Benghazi stuff. On this article right here, House GOP, Obama withholding Benghazi email is, quote, criminal. And I highlighted this part. Immediately after the attack, the Obama administration said it was a mob protest spawned by an internet video mocking Islam. That'd be innocence to the Muslims. Again, such a protest broke out in Cairo. Yeah, sure it did. But Republicans said the CIA, the Defense Department, and oh yeah, keep in mind this happened on September 11th, 9/11, but in 2012, not back in 2001 when the World Trade Center was attacked by whoever you think. Republicans said the CIA, the Defense Department, and parts of the State Department quickly realized that the Benghazi attack was not a protest. They questioned why the White House deployed Susan Rice, Mrs. Rice, to the talk shows nearly a week later to repeat that message. And don't forget, everybody, that Barack Obama went before the United Nations and condemned the video and blamed everything on the video. And then he debated Mitt Romney on the issue. And Cannon Crowley came to his aid, and Mitt Romney stumbled over his talking points, and it made it look like, look, Hillary Clinton cannot run for president, and Barack Obama's going down, and like, a lot of shit is coming out about Benghazi right now, okay, people? And you need to start to realize that, okay? The Obama administration fucked up. We're catching them in a lie, and it's over for them. Kyle, I need to go put some cold water on my face.
DLAKE's got to put some cold water on his face. It's just got him too heated up. Which, I'm glad that the whole Benghazi thing is coming out and that it's really getting thrown in the face of the Obama administration, and let people know that when we talk shit on the Obama administration, for anybody out there who's not watching this coming from a libertarian view,
no, it's because he's black.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get at, that we're anti-Bush people just as much as we're anti-Obama people, because we're against a Democrat-run administration. It doesn't mean we're for a Republican administration. I don't know. And that brings me to the question, which this has come up a few times, as things get nearer to, we got 2 more years until the next election, what, a year and a half? I don't know. Rand Paul looks like more and more he's going to be running, and I don't want to vote for a Republican. I don't even really want to vote for the Libertarian Party because they're very ineffective. I don't know. What are you thinking, DLAKE? Do you see anybody that you'd really like to vote for? Or do you think it's possible that you could end up voting for Rand Paul if you didn't see anybody independent that you liked?
Kyle, look, I just set up my sound to play some of this. I'm voting for Trey Gowdy, South Carolina representative. That's going to be heading up the select committee on the Benghazi hearings. I'm going to play just a tidbit of this, Kyle. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go.
Decision not to tell the truth on Sunday morning talk shows adversely impacted our ability to get to Benghazi. You made a compelling case. All 3 of you have made a compelling case today.
You hear that okay?
On why it is important for government to tell the truth to its own citizens. So you made the case why we have to tell the truth to other countries, and you made the case on why you have to tell the truth to your own citizens. So if anyone wants to know what difference does it make, anyone wants to ask what difference does it make, it always matters whether or not you can trust your government. And to the families, we're going to find out what happened in Benghazi, and I don't give a damn whose career is impacted. We're going to find out what happened.
Boom!
Without I don't give a damn whose Benghazi, and I don't give a damn whose career is impacted. We're going to find out what happened. And without I would yield back.
Trey Gowdy.
Damn, I gotta give
Give it
that
up for Trey. Give it up for Trey Gowdy.
You got some applause? Can we get some applause for him? Don is saying Rand Paul is a sellout, and I agree. Rand Paul is a sellout, but I don't know. I posed that question just honestly to get people's honest opinion of what's going to happen this next election. If Trey Gowdy ran, I'd have to look into him more because he could do something really good like that. Like Ted Cruz with his filibuster seemed really, really good. But then you actually look into him, and it's like, oh, banker, fuck. I don't want anything to do with you. Same thing with Rand Paul. You can find a few things Rand Paul's done that seem pretty good, but then, oh, he's a mainstream Republican. So I don't know. Jesse Ventura, I haven't heard anything from Jesse Ventura recently. I don't think that he's going to run.
Kyle,
Yeah.
I watched some of Jesse's new show, Off the Grid, with William Shatner, who says he's going to vote for Hillary Clinton, and then Jesse starts talking about how he's off the grid, and Shatner pretty much just says, Jesse, you're like a weird, kooky kind of guy, and good for you living off the grid. But I mean, Jesse, in my opinion, and he's thinking Howard Stern would be a great running mate. He's just getting so further and further out there. I mean, we interviewed his son on our show.
Yeah, Tyrell. I love Tyrell.
Tyrell Ventura is awesome.
I think Tyrell is really the brains behind Jesse, because Jesse's even mentioned once or twice that his son was the one who got him kind of turned on to libertarianism and whatnot.
I mean, Tyrell Ventura 2016, I might be a little bit more for.
But I'm running for president, so.
Vice President Abby Martin.
Abby Martin?
Abby Martin for VP.
I've watched a little bit of her stuff on RT. She's all right. I'd have to look into her more. I want to consider myself an Abby Martin.
She went to San Diego State like DLAKE for PREZ. I'm not a huge fan, but I've watched some of it. And I mean, I'm just saying if Tyrell had a VP, Abby Martin might be a good choice.
That would be an interesting ticket. I would vote for that ticket. Possibly.
Better than Jesse and Howard Stern.
Did you? Jesse Ventura was actually interviewed on Adam versus the Man, and Adam kind of went after him. Like he kind of like.
Wait, say again. What?
He was on. Jesse Ventura was on Adam versus the Man last week, and Adam Kokesh kind of was. You know how Adam Kokesh is. He can be very, very pushy and like in your face while still being polite, and like he kind of a dick to Jesse Ventura because Jesse Ventura was kind of saying that he's a libertarian with a lowercase L is the way that he put it, and
what the fuck does that mean?
Well, and I agree with him because I would consider myself, by his definition, a libertarian with the lowercase L. Adam Kokesh is more of an anarcho-libertarian. He believes in no government whatsoever, and he believes that there should be no administration.
He believes in showing up at the town square with a shotgun saying, "See you next year, bitches."
Well, I get his sentiment, and I don't disagree with him, but I do believe that there's a proper place for government. I consider myself a constitutional libertarian, and I think that supporting somebody like Adam Kokesh, who is more anarcho-libertarian, isn't a bad thing, because if we get any little aspect of what people like Adam Kokesh want, that's still a move absolutely in a positive direction, but there's certain things I don't like the idea of. I do think that we need the federal government for constitutional reasons. I think that we have about 5,000,000% more federal government than we actually need, and that's the problem. But that's where they disagreed, is that Jesse Ventura wants to reduce government, Adam Kokesh wants to dissolve it. And so they kind of went back and forth, and Adam Kokesh is a good talker, so he kind of he kind of owned Jesse Ventura in a way that was less than polite, I would say. So I don't know how I felt about it, because I like Jesse Ventura, but I feel like we've talked about it before. We talked about this when you guys were out for the movie Becoming Paul Revere, that it seems like Jesse Ventura might have dementia.
A human what?
A human what?
Do you have that sound effect? A human what?
I don't think I have it up right now.
No, it's all good. But dementia could be involved somewhere. Is Jesse Ventura vying to buy the Los Angeles Clippers from Donald Sterling? Do you know that?
I hope he is. That would be awesome.
Is he working with Magic Johnson, Oprah Winfrey, David Geffen, and Ellis to purchase the Lakers? Anyway?
Johnson are working.
Listen! No, listen, Vanessa! Here's a great idea. You take your video recorder over to Donald's house tonight, and you start questioning him about how he feels about Magic Johnson being a black person. And don't forget to mention that you're of mixed ethnicity. Try to keep repeating that every time there's a lull in the conversation. We'll get it posted on TMZ by Sunday. Oprah Winfrey will be buying the team within 2 fucking weeks. I think this is great. It's not a conspiracy in any way.
Who is this guy, and why does he want me to take these pills? Where am I?
Where am I?
Retirement home.
My son is running for president?
Here, have you seen this video? I might have played it on the air already, but here, let's watch a little bit of this. It's hilarious.
I was a governor, a Navy SEAL, doctor, I've heard things that'll blow your mind. And now I think it's time you get the whole story. I'm Jesse Ventura, and this is Conspiracy Theory. Now, Jesse Ventura confronts his own past in the ring and investigates America's darkest athletic conspiracy: professional wrestling, populist sports sensation, or a massive charade. The governor has been told to come alone to a secret location for crucial information on the multi-billion-dollar global wrestling deception. I'm here to meet an expert and a fellow pro wrestling veteran from back.
Okay, yeah, Kyle, Vimeo's a little skippy today. Wasn't playing super great there, but obviously looks like a great comedy skit.
I saw that a few weeks ago. It's like, wow, that's exactly what we talked about.
Hey, Kyle, we're over an hour. We're moving into the entertainment section. You know what's even funnier than that video?
Huh.
Our newest video, Draw a Dick on a Robot's Face. Can you cue that up?
You want to play the draw a robot on a robot?
I want to play it.
Draw a robot.
Not only do I want to play it, here, everybody, you can find it on the Media Speaks. You can find it on YouTube. Let me go to my screen share because I'm going to read to you guys the incident that happened to me last night while Kyle cues the video. Kyle, is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Continue reading. Draw a dick on a robot's face. Nightscope K5, R2D2. TMS Live. Draw a dick on a robot's face. No matter how mature you are, you know you want to. By the time it rolls down your street, it's going to have a dick on its face, says Kyle Phillips. DLAKE continues. Anyways, I just talked to a San Diego Police Department officer this evening, standing in line at the 7-Eleven. I asked him, "Officer, have you ever heard of the Nightscope K5? He hadn't heard of that. He half turned my direction, and I said, "It's a policing robot." He was a little stunned. I mentioned it could read license plates, and he acknowledged that was a good thing. There was a moment of silence. The store was a bit crowded. I then said, "It's kind of like RoboCop coming for your job," and asked him, "Do you think that could happen?" He scoffed and said something to the effect, "A long time away." I asked him, "Like maybe 5 years?" Standing in line, the officer only turned over his shoulder in this conversation, waiting to go next in the 7-Eleven line. The cashier was getting his pizza slices to add to his fancy coconut drink. He scoffs again at my timeline suggestion, so I ask condescending, "More like 10 years?" He sort of agrees to that. He approaches the register finally to pay, and I am done with my questioning and leave him be. I wave to him on my way out. I tell the cashier, "Nightscope." She says, "Kaleidoscope?" K5, R2D2, TMS Live. Kyle, are you ready with the clip?
I am. Here, let's go to it really quickly.
Produced by
Jeff Jordan likes your murder gloves. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Draw a dick on a robot's face. George Jordan, DLAKE for PREZ, Kyle Phillips remix. Go ahead, Kyle.
Screw the cattle, screw the desert tortoise, and meet the new crime-fighting R2D2
Nightscope
K5. Promising enhanced policing capabilities. Uh-oh. Have we, as a species, learned nothing from RoboCop?
If you saw that thing, that R2D2 looking thing, rolling down the street,
you would draw a dick on its face.
You would draw a dick on its face. You would draw a dick on its face. It sounds crude and it sounds like we're being immature, but no. I would never draw a dick on its face. By the time it came rolling past your house, it would have a dick on its face.
I have a dick on my face.
It looks pretty clean so far. No graffiti on it, no stickers or dicks on it anywhere. Does it have R2D2 shock capability and any kind of artillery?
No,
oh, infrared. I'll just say it's got predator vision.
It does.
Oh!
Run those kids to your white and once that's for blacklist, you're databases.
Jew, Gentile.
Yeah, if there's any black dudes walking through your neighborhood, it'll know. It'll see that there's a Chevy Caprice from 1987. It will alert the authorities.
It's all bigger. Oh.
Okay. Attention, citizen. Oh my God, are you Matt Damon?
I have Facebook.
Oh my God, are you Matt Damon?
I'm scanning the crowd. Is that Matt Damon? 3.0? C3PO? Uh-oh. It could have prevented the Boston Marathon bombing with a robot.
How?
If R2D2 was out there, that wouldn't have happened. What if these cars just backs up into it? Oops.
There's some.
Have you seen at the like Google tech conventions, and even Edward Snowden showed up at an event in
Yeah. Edward Snowden did the TED Talk on one.
Yeah, TED Talk. You can like let's say I'm right here right now. I can make this broadcast to you live. Hey, it's DLAKE. Meanwhile, I'm remote controlling a little joystick. I'm controlling like one of those R2D2s. But
If I'm on a robot screen and all you can see is my face, I'll be controlling a little joystick. Know what I'm saying?
I'll be drawing a dick on your face with a big Sharpie on the screen.
People are going to draw dicks all over its face, and the real question which nobody's bringing up is what if that R5 unit has a bad motivator?
Would you like a quesadilla? I don't like you. I can read your license plate. I can read your license plate. I smell marijuana. I don't like you. I can read your license plate.
Until that machine is gone, DLAKE, I resign.
Until that machine is gone, DLAKE, I resign.
When we were doing that episode, did you realize that I was making a Morgan Freeman reference?
Yeah. No, I totally got it. I knew there was going to be Morgan Freeman at the end of the video because I knew that was the Morgan Freeman impression from The Dark Knight at the end with all Batman's NSA equipment. I knew that. I totally got it. I hope everyone else got it and could stay on the same page with us. There was a lot of comedy in there and a lot of important things we were talking about. And, of course, we set it off with me talking to the San Diego police officer yesterday about it. And, I mean, it's a really great way to illustrate how much the media speaks. DLAKE for PREZ and Kyle Phillips are on top of the news. We've been doing this over 24 months, like over 2 years, Kyle. I mean, it's May 3rd. The InfoWars reporter contest closed 2 days ago, 2 years ago.
Oh,
you remember that?
I do remember that, and you just sparked in my mind that tomorrow is a holiday.
What holiday is that?
May the 4th.
May 4th?
Yeah, May 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Oh, yeah, no, seriously, that's so right, man. And AMC Movie Talk is launching a new show tomorrow on May the 4th, and they just announced this week the new Star Wars cast, and they had that black and white, I gotta go to that.
Yeah,
that black and white photo that looks like it's from the 70s of the new Star Wars cast. Oh, man, that shit's so tight.
You think it's going to be good?
Are we in entertainment now? I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's entertainment now.
Okay. Go ahead, Kyle. I'm going to look at this
do you
picture.
think that the new Star Wars will be good? Because
Yes.
I don't know. All right, if it was up to me, they
have to make up for the prequels first of all, but
they do. And here's all right. If they would have stopped at just the original 3, that would have been perfect. Do nothing else, and then just keep it the awesome movie trilogy that it is. Episode 1 sucked. Episode 2 is okay. Revenge of the Sith, I got to give it to them, was pretty good. But this, I mean, J.J. Abrams...
the third one? The third one was pretty good.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith was good. But J.J. Abrams, I'm kind of pissed off because he's already doing Star Trek. It's like, should you do Star Trek and Star Wars? But at the same time...
Yeah, no, I know.
He did a great job with Star Trek.
It's kind of blasphemy. Did fanboys, did those guys make it okay? Look at this photo. Look at this photo. There's JJ talking to Harrison Ford with R2D2 in a box behind him. The new female lead talking to Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. I believe this is the gentleman that plays Chewbacca. There's Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker on the left-hand side. I believe he is talking to Max von Sydow, Ming the Merciless, wearing the exact same shirt. That's kind of weird. This black gentleman, this guy right here, damn it. I can't think of his name, but this gentleman right here with the black hair and the black shoes sitting here next to this other guy, this guy is like the main villain guy. He's like a new actor. He's on that show Girls. Andrew King.
Well, there goes D-Lake. You can't talk about girls on TMS. Otherwise, somehow you end up getting booted. But I don't know. It looks like it could be good. I'm all on board with the idea that J.J. Abrams maybe shouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, like I said, that guy did an awesome job with Star Trek. And like this new Star Trek movies, I think are the bomb. I think they're awesome. I can't wait for more. But I think maybe they should have just left Star Wars alone. Just stop it. Star Trek, you can get away with it a little bit more because they've been doing it periodically for so long since the 60s. I mean, there was a big gap between the original series and the movies coming back. But aside from that, it's been pretty continual. I mean, between that and Next Generation, and they did Star Trek Enterprise, Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. But I don't know. I'm definitely going to see the movie, that's for sure. D-Like, you can't talk about girls on a Google Hangout. It'll boot you. I think that's what happened. I think you talked about the wrong thing.
Is that what happened?
I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know. I'll see it in theaters. I'll probably even see it in 3D. But when is it coming out? Next year?
Yeah, next year.
If it sucks, they're going to be fucked. People are going to be mad.
Dude, this shit has to be so on point and so fucking amazing and so true to the source material, unlike the prequels, because there's still a lot of, okay, giving away my age a little bit here, but Kyle's still into this too, but like, I'm more in the genre of motherfuckers that this really matters to. I'm like 40, okay? So like, this shit was like my childhood, okay? And, like, they ruined it when I was in my 20s, and now it's their chance to, like, they better fucking redeem my childhood. With this
See, I
shit.
agree, because I'm younger than you.
Clone Wars, some stupid animation, and cartoons aren't gonna fucking do it. Okay?
No, absolutely not. And I'm of the generation that you were like a little kid when the movies originally came out. When I was a little
I had Star Wars wallpaper and like
so
my
did I.
buddies had like you know,
I had a wall of Star Wars pictures.
Cases and
I had a wall of Star Wars pictures that were all torn out and taped to my wall from Star Wars Insider. That's like all my toys, lightsabers out the ass everywhere. Every year, what are you going to be for Halloween? Like something from Star Wars, you know? And
I was Batman for like 10 years in a row when I was a little kid with different costumes. And like every year my parents are like, D-Lake, you with the cape and the Batman, and every year you're Batman, and just like, stop with the fucking Batman.
I was Wolverine one year.
Oh,
like
for real?
old school comic book Wolverine, yeah.
Actually, after I got over Batman, my best Halloween costume ever was Wolfman. Before I could even grow a beard like this.
You had to wear a fake beard?
I had all this cotton stuck on my face with maple syrup. I looked fucking awesome, but I smelled like a pancake.
But I mean, the Star Wars came out in theaters when they remastered it, and they put it back in theaters for a little run. That was when I was...
with extra bonus clips that were retarded, and he's gonna step over Jabba the Hutt's tail. That was stupid.
Yeah, well, that came out when I was like 5 or 6, and so that was like my introduction to Star Wars, was going with my dad, seeing him in theaters.
Yeah.
We bought the trilogy on VHS when it came out. Episode 1 came out when I was like 11. I was super excited. I was like, I've waited forever for this. Oh my god, new Star Wars! And then we come out of the theater and it's like, oh my god, that was so.
Dude, I went to like episode 1 you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, when they re-released the Star Wars, dude, I was with just like a grip of all my best friends, like outside the theater in this gigantic line, and it was back when they had one theater. Okay, one gigantic theater. No multiplexes were just starting to take off. One big ass gigantic theater in Hotel Circle in Mission Valley. People know what I'm talking about. There was people on stage. Everyone was in like Princess Leia and different costumes. And I specifically remember because I was the one motherfucker when everyone was cheering. First appearance of Luke Skywalker. Yay! Dude, when Darth Vader came through the fucking doors.
Are you talking about Empire Strikes
I was like the motherfucker first Star Wars. I stood up, I was like, yeah, Vader. I was like the only one.
Everybody's like, what the? Sit the fuck down.
Yo, dude, you're rooting for the bad guy. Who is that fucker in the first 3 rows? No. Dude, shit was awesome and amazing, and but yeah, just to get back, we're in the entertainment section. We're going full on Star Wars this episode, apparently. But that picture with JJ and the new crew looks awesome and amazing. The new cast was announced this week. I think it sounds spectacular because there are a lot of lesser-known people. Like, I couldn't even get the names right before.
Well, that was the thing with the original movies, is that those guys were.
That was the thing with the original. Look, yes, exactly, Kyle. Do everything, just do everything exactly like the first movies, and you're good to go.
Exactly. I mean, the original movies, the biggest person in it was Harrison Ford, and he wasn't even.
No, it was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. What's his name? Alan.
The first Star Wars was before Indiana Jones. Hardly anyone knew who Han Solo was except for American Graffiti.
Yeah. So, but he'd done something. But yeah, you're right. What's the guy's name who played Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness. He was in Bridge Over the River Kwai. He was really well known from British movies.
Exactly.
But, okay, yeah. People knew him, but I mean, his role was almost like a cameo. I mean, he came back as a ghost and everything.
In the first Star Wars, yeah, his role was limited.
Yeah, he wasn't like.
It wasn't really about him except for exposition, just to explain stuff.
Like, if you strike me down, I will build a bridge in Japan.
I'll let you know how all this will work, and I'll set it up that I'm sort of Luke Skywalker's sort of new father figure since Darth Vader couldn't do the job.
Got serious daddy.
And we kind of know how that all worked out because they made the prequels, but it didn't make any sense. And in Episode 3, when they're just standing on those floating things above the lava river, and like all of a sudden out of nowhere, Obi-Wan's like, "I have the higher ground." It's like, how do you have the higher? What?
Yeah,
you have the higher ground, and then you're able to just like strike off like 3 limbs in one fucking jump.
Higher ground is really important.
If you're a fucking Jedi, apparently Episode 3 makes it clear that like being 2 feet above the other guy with a hill behind him means that you've immediately won the battle.
I'm excited for like when I'm like 60 years old and I have a grandson who is 7 years old in this thing I've invented in my brain. I want to show him all the Star Wars movies, which by this time there will be about 12, maybe.
And you're trying to explain to a 6th grader how much people hated Jar Jar Binks, and he's like,
No, I won't explain anything. I'm just gonna show them to him in chronological order, and he'll be like, "What the fuck?" Like, all right, so the graphics were so.
Oh, in chronological order, like Episode 1 first?
Yeah, because he'll be so confused. He'll be like, "Why do the graphics are okay, and then they get better, and then better, and then they suck, and then they get slightly better, and slightly better, and then oh my god, it's awesome! Like, what's going on here? Why is this movie HD, and this one is SD, and this one has puppets, and this one has animated characters?" He'll be so confused. It doesn't make any sense.
Dude, that is so fucking funny.
I mean, well, you know,
like no, Kyle. That I mean, it's funny. It's fucking hilarious. But that there's probably a lot of people in the younger generation where that's how they that might have been their actual viewing order. But there should be forget university studies about other crap like smoking marijuana and stuff. They should make a study about watching Star Wars in chronological order, like Kyle said.
Like, can you imagine? All right, so you show it to him in chronological order, and then you try and they made the middle movies in the 70s and 80s, and then they waited 20 years, and then they made the ones that come before that, and then they waited another 10 years, and they made the ones that come after that, and the kid will be like, "Is this guy fucking retarded? Like, that's not how you do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's order. That's how you do it." It's like, not if George Lucas. That's not how he does it.
No, Kyle. I've been watching recently this. It's like a YouTube channel. Kids, they have a bunch of stuff, but it's like kids react, elders react, teenagers.
I've seen the elders react. Yeah.
Okay, they have like kids react to like.
Oh no, I did see one. The gay marriage I saw.
And like, oh yeah, I saw that. And kids react to like
9/11
telephone. Oh, kids react to Walkmans, 1980s Sony Walkmans. Kids react to like old rotary phones and stuff. But they should do a kids react to Star Wars in chronological order. I think Kyle has a really big $1 million idea right there. Thanks, Kyle.
It'd be so confusing.
It's fucking genius, dude.
All right. Well, I think we've talked about Star Wars enough. We've done an hour and a half. How about we wrap it up?
Dude, I've been so hyped up on this show. I had to put cold water on my face like 3 or 4 times. Right before you cut me off on Star Wars, I was getting pretty heated, right? I was going to have to do another cool-off, but good thing that we're wrapping up the show. Hey, everybody, I'm DLAKE for PREZ. You can check out all my news, video reports, and insight to what's going on in the news on themediaspeaks.com. Thanks so much to Kyle Phillips for having me on the show. We do like cool collaborations like draw a dick on a robot's face, other stuff like that. We always post it to the Media Speaks. Pretty soon, Drudge Reports, they're like putting our links on their page, and InfoWars always picks up our stuff, and like that's happened. And like David Knight says, what a great job we're doing on the InfoWars Operation Paul Revere contest. We should post that video. And just to let everyone know, it's 2 years later. This is like a 2-year later episode show. We've just been doing such a great job. You can find me, DLAKE for PREZ, David Lake. Look up David Lake on YouTube. Look up themediaspeaks.com on YouTube. Check out Kyle Phillips. The Media is Here on YouTube. Make sure you check out Anthony Court Constant Justice on YouTube. Sam Might Be the Ganji, who is The Correct Views on YouTube. Pretty soon I'm going to say everything that Kyle was going to say, so he's got nothing left to say. And thanks for having me on the show today, Kyle. Great show.
Thank you for doing this show. Like you said, we've been doing it 2 years.
I'm going to have to go put some cold water on my face, Kyle.
Like put some cold water on his face. Thanks everybody for watching. We're here every Saturday. Same time, themediaspeaks.com, The Media Speaks on Facebook, at The Media Speaks on Twitter, The Media Speaks .com on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, comment, do all those good things that internet peoples like. Because
the audio.
Yeah, do it.
What about the audio, if I just want audio?
If you just want audio, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, you can listen to it on Stitcher, or the Podkicker app. No matter what kind of phone you have, you can listen to it. So do that, and you can tell us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter what you thought of it. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will see you next week.